Good morning. Hope you all doing fine. Today we'll start with a new chapter, that is chapter 4 of your textbook, Business Services. Today's session we will talk about what exactly services are and the nature of services. We'll also compare it with goods. Now, let us define services first. The services are those economic activities which are intangible. Intangible means cannot be touched or seen. It can only be felt and imply an interaction to be realized between the service provider and the consumer. Okay, and services are essentially intangibles. What I told you, this is another definition which is trying to explain what services are. Their purchase does not result in the ownership of anything physical. Right? In case of goods, when you buy something, you become the owner of that particular good. But in case of services, it does not result in the ownership. Yeah. For example, like you can only seek advice from the doctor. You cannot purchase him. Similarly, you can go for beauty services or any other healthcare services, which you will be able to feel the result. Okay, that means is realized between the service provider and the consumer, right? You went for a haircut. The barber cut your hair, and then you get the results, right? So the ownership is not there in the picture when it comes to services. Let us see nature of services. 5 I's we call them. There are 5 basic characteristics of services. Let us understand. Number 1, intangibility. This is what I told you. Services are intangible. That means cannot be touched or tasted. Example, service of a doctor, beauty service, or any other service. Inconsistency, always changing based on the demands and expectation of different customers and when it is needed. Okay, so these are inconsistent. There's one example given here on the screen. The service providers, these all are service providers. They give you services, right? So service can be telecom services, right? Service given by the mobile service providers. So it is inconsistent. It cannot be same for all the customers all the time. It depends on customers' requirement. Okay, which kind of plan you're buying. It's a prepaid, postpaid. Okay, so all these things are inconsistent. So first was intangible, second is inconsistent. Third is inseparability. Services are produced and consumed at the same time. Unlike goods, goods are produced much before they get consumed, right? If you're buying noodles, packet or chocolate, so these are goods which get produced much before you buy them, right? But in case of here, like beauty services, a makeup artist is, you're trying to take the service, so you have to be there and the person will apply the makeup and there's inseparability. That means you need to, the services are produced and consumed at the same time. Okay, it cannot happen that you go to a surgeon for a surgery and then you'll say, okay, I'll get it done later, you just give me some voucher. Fine. So it has to be then and there. No inventory. Inventory less. Okay, no inventory less. This is the 4th I. That means no tangible components in services, hence cannot be stored for future use. Right? So, like in case of goods, those are stored in warehouses and all, right? But in case of services, no need to store them for future use. Involvement. Participation of the customer in the service delivery process is a must, right? service provider and the customer involvement has to be there. So these are the 5 I's of services. Hope it is clear. You can read, many examples are there in your textbook also. And one more example, if a customer wants goods of optimum quality and certain extra services like discount coupons, free gifts, extra package, then a producer has to modify his services according to the need of the consumer. Okay, so involvement has to be there. These were 5 I's of services. Now let us try to differentiate. By now you can yourself differentiate. Just let me give you some idea. In case of services, services is what is an activity or a process, and goods, it's a physical object. Then talking about services are intangible, goods are tangible, you can touch them, you can feel them, or you cannot. In case of services, you cannot see or touch. Then inconsistent service, different customers, different demands. Goods are consistent. If I buy a pack of biscuit, okay, any maybe dark fantasy or Parle G, you will also buy the same. It's a standardized product. The same product we both will get, right? That is, consistency is there. Then talking about inseparable, as I just explained it to you, production and consumption at the same time at the case of services. And in case of goods, it can be, it's not necessary that if you have bought the cake or chocolate today, you have to consume it at the same time. It was produced much before, then you consumed it before the consumption. So services, inventory cannot be there. Yeah, services are inventory less and goods have to be stored, inventory is there. Then service, okay, these are the things I just explained to you in a tabular form, but when you're writing it, it has to be in a proper sentence. Now, types of services. This chapter is called business services, right? So other than business services, there are other services also, like personal services, right? Social services. So we'll understand that. Business services are which provide to business enterprises for the conduct of their activities. You remember first chapter we did trade auxiliaries, banking, insurance, transportation, warehousing. All these are giving support to business, right? So these are called business services. Then social services, we all know what are social services, which are rendered voluntarily to achieve certain social goals, like blood donation camps, medical camps, then health, providing education, free education, healthcare services. Okay, so all these are for like social services. And for why do people do social service? For their satisfaction, self-satisfaction, and for improving the standard of living of weaker sections of society, for providing education or healthcare. Okay. Now, these were social services. The third type of service is personal services. That means for your own self, which is, okay, given for an individual personal satisfaction. They differ based on the taste and preferences of the customers. Example, tourism, recreation, resorts. Okay, so all these are personal services. Going for a going to a salon, all these are personal services. That's it for the day. Thank you. Just go through these things once more in your textbook till we meet for the next class. Take care, stay safe.